everybody. I am here on a nice Friday night. We're around the end of September. Weather's beautiful. Just a nice temperature for wearing long pants to do the sanding and grinding, and but not too cold either. So tonight I'm just going to show you a little bit of fiberglassing that we did last time and show you the results. If you're somehow just jumping in at this point, this is a plywood mock-up. I built this with the intent to learn how to fiberglass. A lot of things that you see, as you're learning, whether you're reading it or getting it off YouTube, and that's all well and good, but we all know that you don't know anything until you actually do it yourself. So this is my learning bed before I start doing it on the boat, and I am learning. So let me just take you on a tour. The first layer was this real heavy 1808, and we found out how inflexible that is. You can see right here, this light area is where the fiberglass did not conform to the angle, and so that's a weak spot right there. The takeaway is 1808 is too stiff to go around anything close to a sharp angle. I mean, this is a 45 right here, and I filled up the crack there, and it still was too tight. So if you have to make a bend with 1808, it's got to be real shallow. So that was that. This last go around, I took 6 ounce fabric, very thin, light stuff, very flexible, and I covered this being my PE stringer, and I wanted to get a thickness first of all, so I know what each layer is going to add. And so the fabric covered this really nicely. There's a couple sharp points there that you got to be careful of. Just hit them with your grinder or sander. It flows around the corners pretty nicely. Here, I did end up with kind of a little conundrum. I had an overlap and another overlap, and by the time you're all done, you got 3 or 4 layers. And so I got to figure out a better way to do something like that. I'm not positive that exact thing is going to come up, but I'd like to know how to deal with it. So the answer to the question, 6 ounce fiberglass with PE resin, that gave me a thickness of about 12 thousandths per layer. So I'll put that knowledge into my memory bank for doing my layups, and know how much additional thickness I'm putting on with each layer. All right, also I did these 2 sides here. We'll start up here. So this is a mock-up of some slots that I'm going to do in the engine bay doors. The slots allow air to get into the engine, obviously. And this, I'm glad I did a experiment on, because as it was an unmitigated disaster. But again, I don't care, because this is what this is for. So as I wet out the fiberglass and I laid it across this whole thing, it obviously would make a bridge right across the slot. And I thought, oh, okay, I'll be real smart, and I'll come by with some scissors and I'll cut it. Well, even this real light 6 ounce would not flow into the slot. So that tells me I'm going to have to wrap the slot first, and just multiple pieces, whatever I have to do to cover the inside of the slot, and then come back and do, you know, the top covering. So you can see both of them are the same way. So again, disaster, but it's okay. The 6-ounce fabric does turn corners very nicely. Here's that same kind of thing where you end up with multiple layers, but it easily went around this radius corner. And then the last thing to show you is this face, and there was two things going on here. The top one is I think it's about a 4-inch hole. This simulates a place in the front seats and the rear seat where I'm going to have a cooler, where I want to be able to drain. So the first coat was straight across there, and then my thought was to just kind of push the wetted fiberglass, much thinner in this case, down into the hole, and then, you know, cut a drain hole and put a fitting in there. It didn't work. This stuff is soft and flexible, and of course it gets wet with fiberglass. It does stretch. I did make it all the way down to the bottom, but it's got this whole area in here is just void, just airspace. So that's not going to last. Takeaway there is do the flat layer first, and then come in here with some peanut butter and just make a nice shape for the fiberglass to follow. And lastly, let's see, how am I going to get some light on this? This area is a 1/8 inch depression, and it didn't go exactly as I planned or hoped. Actually, I guess knowing now what I know, it kind of did act the way I would expect. And here is, you know, the fiberglass obviously adhered to the bottom, and it did adhere to the top. But instead of getting tight in there, we've got an angle. It didn't stretch tight into the groove. So again, live and learn, figure out how to do it on the boat, so it's a quality job rather than, you know, having stuff like this that you just have to grind out and start over. So that is my fervent hope to save a lot of time and agony, and actually money, because this stuff is expensive. So you make a mistake and, you know, all that money is down the drain. Okay, I think that's enough for now. I'm going to do some fiberglassing, more layers somewhere this weekend, and I'll video that and let you know what comes of it. Bye for now.